Okay, so number 18 is buy reusable products.
Yep, I think that it is important to use cloth napkins. Um, even when you need dinnerware, I collect antique china and I buy it very inexpensively, but I use all antique china, old, antique glassware, silverware. So when possible, if you can reuse all that instead of going and purchasing new, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, that is, I agree. Um, all right. Number 19, buy used or thrifted items.
You know, um, my whole entire home has been decorated with things that I've either thrifted or is been touched by other people before it came to me. So I understand there's certain things that, you might have to buy new, but if you can reuse and buy from a thrift store, I always highly encourage it. Buying your clothes at a thrift store, buying, housewares at a thrift store, anything, that you can possibly do so we're not adding to the landfill from our family is really important for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, true. Number 20, try to drive less.
Yep. Carpool when possible. I think we gotten out of the habit of carpooling. Well, I don't know necessarily if we got out of the habit. I think that here in the state of Maine, we probably don't have as many opportunities to carpool, right? But if you know your neighbors and you're going to the grocery store, ask them if there's things that you can pick up. So you're not, or maybe they would like to come, with you. Maybe you can save on errands together by, going to do them together.
Hmm, that's a great idea. Gosh. Um, yeah, I should do that more. Uh, yeah. Did you see my post? You saw my post about the oven, but I also did a post about the taxi. But I have a dentist appointment next week, and I needed a ride, so I was trying to call the taxi. Uh,
Did you ever get a hold of the taxi?
I did through Facebook Messenger.
Oh,
Weird, but anyway. Uh, Number 21, consider bartering or borrowing.
yep. I think again, we have had a huge project going where we're having the side of our house shake shingle put on it. And the carpenter did not have the stapler that he needed. And we were going to go out and purchase it. And then, I was able to speak to another friend and they actually had everything that we needed.
Nice.
And so, if you're able to borrow, sometimes I know it's uncomfortable asking people, but you know what? If your lawnmower breaks, ask somebody to borrow it. I love all these new apps that we have and just these community Facebook pages because you could actually put out there that you're looking for something and need some help. And people, want to help each other.
Right.
And so, I mean, let's see, I remember once I wanted a waffle maker and my husband just said, like, realistically, like, how many waffles are you going to plan on making in your lifetime? And the
Oh,
truth
you
is,
watch me.
you know, well, right, maybe, I'm hoping to, but you know what? My cousin had one. I borrowed her waffle maker for a couple months and then I gave her back to her because I'm not making waffles that often.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I would make them every weekend. I say that, but my issue is I don't have space for everything. Like I
me
would,
either.
where would I
Yeah,
keep it? I would have to keep it in the basement and then it would be out of sight, out of mind.
right. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great idea to, just work on like borrowing more. We need to know our neighbors. I think that's just the long and short of it. Know your neighbors. How about that?
Yeah. I think that's where we go back to doing a potluck and inviting those neighbors and maybe putting it out there like, hey, I have a big idea. Why don't we have a lending library? I have a bread maker. Do you have a waffle maker? you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We can have a waffle breakfast. We can all get it out of our systems.
right. Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I actually just somebody had posted that they were looking for like pillows and stuff for
Yeah.
their job at a daycare, and I was like, "Ooh, I have a couple pillows downstairs. Let me wash them and see." And um I washed them and I messaged her. I'm like, "Ooh, I've got them ready." They're, and I gave her my address. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I drive by your house all the time." I'm like, "Hey, neighbor."
Right. Well, see, that's it. Yeah, that's awesome that you reached out.
But who knows how long we've lived here and
Right.
didn't know. Again, just like me and the other podcaster. Um, but so, okay, number 22, learn how to budget.
Oh, I think that that's really, really important. You know, in order to live like nobody else, you have to save like nobody else, right? You never know what's around the corner. My husband retired when he was 36, but he also became disabled. And if we had not budgeted and saved and did creative ways to live our lives, we wouldn't be able to be living the way we live or helping other people the way we're able to help them. So I just think it's really important to have a budget.
Mhm.
And, for us, we like to pay in cash, and that's really helped us manage our money is by paying in cash and saving.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then, so you just covered number 23 as well. Start paying in cash.
Yeah.
Oh, how about
Yeah.
that? You do know
Yeah.
all 23.
Yeah.
Wow. So number 23, just going to say, it says there were no credit cards at the time of the Great Depression, so maybe you should start considering to pay in cash if you don't
Right.
already do so.
And I think that's really scary for people.
Yeah.
I think you have used credit cards as a safety net. And like I said, if you save like no other, you can live like no other. Once
Mm,
you pay off all your bills and you have none, then everything you bring in, you can live a really fine life.
I like that. Wow. So yeah, even if you only save the 1 to 4% processing fees, they'll add up very quickly with the number of transactions we make. You'll be surprised how much the banks were taking that you could have saved. It says handing over cash when purchasing will help make you more aware of your spending habits than swiping a credit card with imaginary money.
Mm.
So, and then the last statement is, what is the difference between frugal and stingy?
Oh, depends who you ask, I think, right? Um, I like to always say this to people is I am very frugal, but I save my money for the good stuff.
Yeah.
I save it for the good stuff. Um I want to be able to buy a car with my cash. I don't take loans out, you know what I mean? And so you can look at it as, yes, you're frugal and you're stingy, so you're able to do those sort of things
Hmm.
that in this day and age is not a commonplace, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I guess it's the way you look at it. Like I said, I encourage people to save where they can. And this is a process. This just didn't happen overnight. I'm almost 60 years old, so it's taken me a long time to get to where I am. But if I wouldn't have started and paid off my debt and lived like no other and did all these frugal tips, then I probably wouldn't be living where I live and own what I have, and I'm happy doing it. All
Mm.
these things bring me pleasure and joy. And if none of these things brought you pleasure and joy, then I would suggest not doing them,
Right.
right? Because you should really be enjoying your life. Nothing should be, to me, being stingy would be you're doing these things and you're not necessarily having enjoyment, it's painful. And then that you shouldn't be doing it if it's that way.
Right. Yeah. I do the same thing with myself with food. Like I have priorities. Like
Yeah.
I will on purpose not eat bread because I'm saving up for, maybe a slice of pizza or something like that.
Hey, I'm with you on that one. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then and the very last page of the article says, can living frugally make you happier? And you just answered that. You were like, it's almost like you wrote this, but I know you didn't,
I did
right?
not write it. No,
Right? You
no,
didn't write it.
I did not write it. Yeah.
But folks, I'm going to put the link to this article in the show notes so you can go over that and remind yourselves of all of this stuff. But oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's so cool they're not hard things. These are not hard things.
Right.
They're like just little things that we had, just tiny changes that we can make. And it's also cool that that you, Jenny, have already taken all these things on. So you had something that you wanted to share also. So in honor of this conversation tonight, you were saying, or today, that you were saying that you had a special dinner planned.
I do. I do. My father, growing up in the Depression, one of our favorite dinners that he just kind of carried over into our life and our childhood was fried spaghetti. And again, it's just reimagining and reusing the food that you have. And so we would never throw away that spaghetti. So what we would do is we put a little olive oil in the pan, we reuse that spaghetti, and we crack eggs and scramble eggs in it. And it's not something that you're going to be able to see scrambled eggs in your spaghetti. If you've ever made any sort of pasta dish with raw eggs, it gets really creamy, but it extends the pasta and it also is extra protein. So that is what we're having tonight for dinner.
Fried
And
spaghetti.
fried spaghetti. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Jenny's dad just turned 95.
He certainly did, just last week.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. That's so
Mhm.
cool. Well, Jenny, this has been so fun. I was kind of thinking I was going to tease you and quiz you on this whole thing, but it's just it's so ingrained in you, and it's very, very cool. Do you have any closing thoughts on this just to add?
Well, thank you. Just thank you for having me. And, I think it's for me to be able to teach some of these skills to people who want to learn them. But the great thing about learning a new skill is that once you start doing it, it becomes a way of life. And so they're not things I think about, they're just things that I do. It becomes a natural way of living.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you were able just to take one or two of these thoughts and just apply them to your life, just think how your life or our environment could be changed.
Right.
And
Right. I
that's
mean, you don't have to take on
yeah,
all 23.
right. Just one, you know what I mean? But your life could possibly change by just changing one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much. Oh my
Well, thank
gosh.
you for having me.
Always, always grateful. Very good. All right. I will probably have you again.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Uh, all right. Well, thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
You too.